I'm Wing Commander Dan Penter. I am the chairman of the RAF Video Gaming and Esports Association. We formed about 9 months ago, 10 months ago now, and we're slowly spreading video gaming and esports into the RAF. Well, as part of RAF 100, a year or so ago now, we sent a small team to Insomnia 62. And when the advert went out to advertise that, the response from players in the Air Force was immense. They had 250 applications for 20 places. So in the aftermath of that, we started thinking about generating esports teams and some video gaming activity. About a year later, just before Insomnia 64, we started the association, and since then, the need is an untapped need there. I mean, there's so many people who are so enthusiastic about it. It's exploded in terms of size. I think we're now starting to put those structures together to make it into something as a routine part of service life.
That's brilliant.
RAF Odium, before I even started thinking about the association, RAF Odium, a small team there, were already looking at setting up their own LAN room. Dean Bowditch, who was a corporal there at the time, he did an immense amount of work justifying that, and the RAF Central Fund kindly funded the stand-up of a LAN room there, and that's now been running since September. So it's a 20-seat room. I've got 12 PCs, 8 PS4s, and they've got a constant flow of people in and out most nights of the week now. We've set ourselves up as a multi-game clan. We've got 35 different games supported, and by supported, that's where we get up to 10 people will say they want to play it, and then we get someone to take ownership of that game and lead it. And we've got everything ranging from World of Warcraft, Clash Royale on mobiles, to League of Legends, Call of Duty, pretty much everything in between, including flight sims, Rocket League. It really is, we've created a framework and just seen who turns up, and when there's enough of them, they start playing. It's great. We hit 2% of the Royal Air Force in December, so that's about 635 personnel. We now, actually, as of this weekend, have 680 members. And across 40 bases. We identified all the bases we thought they were. Most of them have now got at least one member. Some bases, some of the bigger ones, like RAF Coningsby or RAF Cosford, have got upwards of 60 members on their teams now. We had 50 players at Insomnia 65, as well as a small stand in the Expo. We had players playing in all of the Masters events, bar one, and we also had a stage match against the Army, which we are very pleased to say went exceptionally well. To quote the shoutcaster on the day, we annihilated them. But that's great. We're looking forward to having a much better competition this year. The Army are starting to get a better team together, so we're looking forward to a rematch. We also played the Belong All-Stars, and the reverse happened there, so we still have work to do. Well, there's a growing body of research that says that the perceptions are just that, perceptions, and the Air Force, being a cross-section of society, is no different. There's the key thing, though. We have minimum fitness standards in the Air Force, and all of our players are required to meet that anyway as part of their normal day jobs. So we've got fit, healthy Air Force members. We've also got quite a few of our members are already RAF representative sportsmen and women, be that in rugby league, field gun running, snow sports. So we actually have quite a few national level service representative sportsmen and women already, and so really it's just an educational piece to show people that we're promoting physical fitness and also helping people to maintain their fitness. With the nutrition and stamina requirements to play esports successfully, in many respects, some of the fitness levels need to be higher than you'd need for some of our jobs in the Air Force. Well, for me personally, I've seen people moving around. We move around every couple of years. We already have people moving between bases, and their social network is already there when they arrive. As we set up LAN rooms in the next year or so, we're going to see more people coming out of their what can be isolated bedroom space into a communal area. So it's going to real community feel, so a massive benefit for that. And then you start thinking about what we call force development. It's things like training leadership, decision making, creating the ability to think well under pressure, and all those things are things that esports really helps. It's been really positive. The hierarchy on the station been so supportive, and really starting to see the amazing growth there is really making it a statement in terms of the success of it. You're always going to have the odd naysayer, because at the end of the day it's something new, but they are seemingly in the minority. We've had a very positive reaction up and down the chain of command, if you like, to esports. It's been brilliant. I'm a hardcore MMO player. I've played World of Warcraft, Star Wars Galaxies, a bit of EVE. My latest game that I was playing as a guild leader was Albion Online. And as I've started the Esports Association, I'm now starting to learn and play other games. So right now I'm focusing on my Rocket League skills, so I'm not completely beaten by my 9-year-old, who is much better than me still. When I was a kid, my dad got a ZX81 just to date me a little bit. So I played a flight sim on ZX81, was probably the first game I played. But the first game I bought for myself was I saved up for an Amiga and got a game called Wings. So I've always been sort of flight sim as a kid, looking at joining the Air Force. But in terms of now, what esports do I prefer to watch? I really like watching Overwatch. Obviously, when we're playing the army, it's especially sweet when we win. But in general, it's a game I actually understand quite well, having played it for 6 months to really get into it last year. So knowing what's going on is half the battle of watching esports. Well, it's great to hear how fast your championship is expanding. I mean, it's doubled in size pretty much from last year. I mean, that's fantastic. I regularly speak at colleges as part of my normal role in the Air Force as an engineer officer. And I was talking at a college recently, and when I started talking about esports, all the kids were excited about it, and I had a chat with the teachers afterwards about potentially becoming part of your program. I mean, for me, that's just brilliant. We'll be due to move house again soon, as you do in military life. And I've got a 9-year-old girl who is a demon at Rocket League. I just hope we find a school that's already part of your championships when we get there. I've recently got a VR for the first time, and I must admit that's amazing technology. It's now just starting to come of age. So I think probably the next iteration of esports, if it's not mobile, will probably be VR. And I mean, seeing a multiplayer VR sport would be that'd be really quite interesting to see how that would work. So I think that'd be really good. And indeed, the Air Force has also got that sort of technology. We have a lot of synthetic training. It's always cheaper to train synthetically. And one of my previous roles, I was part of the procurement team buying synthetics for one of our new platforms, the F-35. So that's really key to how we train, because it's at the end of the day it's cheaper than going out in real aircraft. So the more synthetics we can do and the higher quality it is. So I think VR is definitely going to come forward as part of our training in the future. In terms of esports, we're still in the growth phase at the moment, on the crest of a wave with a very large and fast uptake of players. Over the next year, we want to establish which esports we'll compete in and start establishing selections. At the moment, we're selecting by we'll have maybe 20 people who want to play a game, and we'll play a few games to select down to a team. By this time next year, I want to be in a place where I've got each station providing a team, so we end up with really starting to raise our level of competition, and ideally I want to get onto the likes of the Masters at Insomnia and get top 4. That's probably if I was to do that this year, that would be amazing. Might be too early, but maybe in the next 2 years. One thing we haven't talked about really is how we're getting at our funding, and really need to put a massive press out to RAF Central Fund. They're a charity, one of the RAF charities that's aim is to promote physical activity in the Air Force, and we've discussed esports with them, and they recognise that by getting a community feel, we'll have a better chance of helping people get physically active, and especially to get rid of those preconceptions of what a gamer is. And as part of that, they've also funded us as well as probably up to about 230 more land seats over the 20 we got for Odium last year. We've also buying a piece of equipment called Hado. Hado is it's an augmented reality sport played on a court, same sort of size as a squash court, and it's a 3v3 dodgeball, pretty much. It's fantastic fun, and it's also really hard work. A 90-second game can feel like a lifetime. We had a team that narrowly missed getting to the Hado World Cup last year, and we'll have a Hado equipment in the Air Force, moving around between stations before we hit Easter, and the plan is to introduce Haddo to all of our servicemen and women, so that we can start generating competitive teams for that